Let me welcome Congressman Cedric Richard from Louisiana 2nd District. Welcome, Congressman. Thank you for talking to us tonight.
Hey, Alan. Thanks for having me.
What's your reaction to the news today of the FBI looking at these additional emails?
You know, I don't think anybody has a problem with what the FBI looks at. I think the real problem is the fact that it's being portrayed as something it's not, that there's some other indication on Secretary Clinton's part. We have no problems with a thorough investigation, which, by the way, they did. And year-long investigation that wrapped up months ago where they said that the secretary had no exposure. The problem I have is that they send a letter to 8 Republican committee chairmen
right,
dictating what the problem is, and then you give those Republican chairmen the ability to characterize it the way they want. And the way the press is characterizing is just not true.
Well, Jason Chabot's saying we're opening an investigation. That's not at all what's going on.
No, that's not what's going on. I think that's what's happening is that the FBI director has concluded that he wants to look into something, but that something is not Secretary Clinton. Now, here's the other part that I think the country needs to realize, that there's a long-standing history of the FBI and other people characterizing what the FBI is doing to affect elections, whether it was Vincent Gray in Washington, D.C., where the FBI said, we're investigating him, he loses his race, and then a year later they said, no, he didn't do anything wrong.
Yeah.
Whether it was a U.S. senator, where they have a past of doing that. And I just don't think that the FBI should be in the business of trying to affect a race without real concrete evidence. But even in this case, it is not the FBI saying anything. It is the Republican chairman who are characterizing their letter as something that it's not. And I think that is a dangerous precedent for the country.
We're talking with Congressman Cedric Richard of Richmond of Louisiana. Do you question the timing of James Comey here, Congressman?
Oh, absolutely. We're 11 days away from deciding the leader of the free world. You have almost every state has started their early voting. People have already started to vote. And for the FBI director, who has been under a lot of pressure from Republican chairmen, he's been called to testify in front of almost all of their committees. He's been berated. He's been threatened to put in jail. He's been accused of everything under the sun. And now, all of a sudden, at the 11th hour, he sends a letter to them saying, hey, there's something else I want to look into, which then gives them the ability to mischaracterize it for political gain.
Is he playing politics, or was he under obligation, based on his testimony to Congress under oath, to provide any new information that may come to light, so that he had to do this once he knew that those emails existed?
No, because I don't think that those emails have anything to do with Secretary Clinton. And if they have to do with Ms. Aberdeen or others, then that is a completely different story than insinuating that a candidate for president has exposure in this situation. And I think, my personal opinion is, I think he was bowing down to the Republican pressure and not wanting to go through all of the committee hearings and investigations that the witch hunts that the Republican Party will put him through, because they just went through a round of doing that to him, and they're going to do it to him again. And, you know, part of this great country we have is we have the right to stand up for what's right and to have the courage to say, I'm not going to fold to pressure. And I just think that the FBI director folded to unnecessary pressure, which gave the Republicans the ability to mischaracterize this, which I think in itself should be a crime.
Do you think this will affect the outcome of the election?
No. I think the American people see through this. I think they see through the Trump candidacy. And at the end of the day, I think people are looking at what will improve the future for their children in terms of increasing economic opportunity, economic mobility, what will let seniors live out their lives with dignity and respect, and what allows working people to move up on the economic ladder. That's all people care about. this sideshow that has been created by the Trump reality show, I think has been a big distraction. But I think that now that we're close to the election, people are starting to focus on what's important, and that's the future of this country, not a person who is thin-skinned, who may run us into a war, or who makes decisions based on his gut and not on sound information that's given to him by military generals and our military.
You know they're going to start investigating Hillary Clinton on January, if she's elected, on January 21st, 2017. They're already talking impeachment. We know that Jason Chaffetz, House Oversight Committee, wants to go to town on this. It's never going to stop.
It won't stop. And the problem is they're spending so much time and energy focusing on one person as opposed to focusing on the millions of American families that are busting their butts to make ends meet so that they can provide for their children and live a better lifestyle. And that's what we're focused on as Democrats, and Republicans are on this witch hunt. And if you remember, and I hate to do this, but let's go back 8 years. When President Obama and First Lady Michelle Obama were getting ready for an inaugural ball, you had the leading Republican in the Senate saying, we're going to make sure he's a one-term president.
Mitch McConnell.
Right. And in order to make him a one-term president, that means you have to make the country suffer so bad that they want to oust the president. So we see that they are willing to sacrifice the well-being of this country for their political gain. And I think that that is very, very dangerous. And for working families should be appalled that they are basically a pawn in the Republican game plan to just control the country.
Congressman, I appreciate your talking to us tonight on short notice. Thanks so much for your time, sir.
No problem. Thank you for what you're doing, and keep getting out the facts.
Thanks, sir, very much. Congressman Cedric Richmond of Louisiana.